It's a project that will benefit over 1.2 million in the city of Lusaka.
This program is really focused not just on shareholders, it's focused on stakeholders. It's focused on everybody.
The social and gender issues are very important in every developmental project for sustainability.
When we talk about women, it's because we want gender equality and equity.
There is no project that you are going to do without integrating the people.
With a population of more than 2 million people, Lusaka City has many challenges when it comes to access to clean water supply, adequate sanitation and drainage services. It is for this reason that the government of the Republic of Zambia identified these services as key priority areas to be worked on under the $355 million Lusaka Water Supply Sanitation and Drainage Project, funded by the American government through the Millennium Challenge Corporation, MCC. Millennium Challenge Account Zambia was established as a company limited by guarantee and was designated as the accountable entity for the implementation of the Lusaka Water Supply, Sanitation and Drainage Project on behalf of the Zambian government.
The project itself came out from a study that was undertaken by Millennium Challenge Account Zambia. Out of that study, it came out clearly that one of the issues that was constraining economic growth as a result of people not being healthy was the fact that there was inadequate water supply and sanitation in the city of Lusaka, which was making people prone to diseases such as waterborne and water-related diseases, and thereby affecting their productivity.
A total of 1.2 million Lusaka residents are expected to benefit from the project through time savings, reduction in incidences of waterborne diseases, reduced flooding, employment creation, improved health outcomes and reduction in non-revenue water.
So palino nthawe tilibe manzi yenango matapu balina manzi wenango balibe mwamene nililile nilibe nabane balibe titapa chapepa banzatu mwaona so ni problem koma chichetekero ine nyili nacho poika mipaipi nishi baziba kuti manzi bazatipasa tifunika kukhulupirira pamene batikira bija bintu kuti manzi yazabwera.
This proposal then was developed to address this constraint to growth and was sent to the Millennium Challenge Corporation.
Our project is really focused on helping people save time, and also because we want them to be healthy. So that incorporates a lot of different areas. It's looking at public health, it's looking at infrastructure, and it's looking at the capacity of the government and the services that provide water sanitation and proper drainage to the city.
In the last 50 years or so, there has been no major investment in water and sanitation. So what we are doing under the project is to rehabilitate the backbone water and sanitation infrastructure in the city of Lusaka.
The drainage infrastructure, running an approximate distance of 27.5 kilometers, was constructed aimed at reducing flooding in the city of Lusaka. A water and sewer network was provided for Mtendere Peri-Urban. The Kaunda Square ponds have also been upgraded and expanded. Social and gender due diligence was conducted during the development of the compact, and this included support to the Lusaka Water and Sewerage Company and Lusaka City Council for institutional strengthening in social inclusion, gender mainstreaming, information, education, communication and sanitation marketing aimed at ensuring provision of a service that is accessible, affordable, sustainable, and on the other side, for the beneficiaries to uptake and care for infrastructure.
the Zambian government prioritizes gender mainstreaming, especially social inclusion. When we talk about women, it's because we want gender equality and equity, and over time, women have remained behind. So for me and the government, we appreciate this project in the sense that it's already brought changes. We have seen a lot of change in terms of water and sanitation.
We have to have a sensitive eye to the needs of these people. In fact, they are the beneficiaries of this project. And so the social and gender issues come in such a way that we look at the needs of these people, so they're being impacted more than anybody else. So the social and gender issues are very important in every developmental project for sustainability.
Technical specifications included guidance for the contractor on compliance regarding social, gender, and environmental requirements. This included adherence to the national labor laws, which promote, among other things, non-discrimination regarding employment opportunities and conditions of service. These labor laws prohibit forced labor, child labor, sexual harassment and trafficking in persons, while promoting 30% women employment, target and occupational health and safety for employees and surrounding communities.
When we say it has been an integrated project, that's what we mean. Social and gender, environmental and social performance and infrastructure working closely through development, implementation, and even the final closeout of the project. The major achievements, I would cite the better appreciation of social and gender assessment by the engineering staff, better understanding of environmental and social performance by the entire team, but also even ESP and SGA getting to understand better the technical fields that have been driving the development of the infrastructure. The other achievements, getting the implementing entities, Lusaka Water and Lusaka City Council, to also take this on board and take it forward, I think has been a major achievement.
This is the project of its kind in construction that has emphasized on social and gender issues at all levels, right from planning to implementation and I think monitoring. We are not yet, I think, reached the evaluation stage, but so far, I think it has done its best to make sure that the social and gender issues are part and parcel of the project in the communities and elsewhere, because the whole project ultimately benefits the communities.
Pautubwele pano, nichofuna ufaka mpaipi, ndiye pamina nakamba mkwendele kwa ukazimai. Anatuuza ati tukawafendeza muzakabwelela yamanzi yeze tuonga zikomo kaya mututandizira kuti tuzavutike.
We put in place measures to make sure that women also had access to the temporary job opportunities that the compact was bringing. Those measures, the results from those measures have been impressive. Women are just 3% of the construction workforce in Zambia, 10% of the construction workforce worldwide, but on the projects here, they're 22% of the workforce. Our experience here shows that you can put in place simple measures that have big impact on making those jobs open to women, to the benefit of the industry, to the benefit of the women, and to the benefits of their family.
So I, as a woman, I feel empowered. I would call myself a woman of substance, a woman of valor, a strong woman who's able to lead a team of about 14 people, a team of 9 men and 5 women. I'm glad that I've been empowered ever since I came into this project. I've learned quite a lot of stuff.
Well, I think that there's been some very good movement because, just a few years ago, you wouldn't see a woman on site, on a construction site, with a shovel, whether driving a caterpillar or, digging. So that is something which we never used to see. But with the project that is being implemented now, you see that on each component of this project, you see that there's a lot of women. So that really is a demonstration of the affirmative action which we are taking even at this stage, working together with Millennium Challenge, of course. But this is something which, as Lusaka Water and Sewage Company, we hope to carry forward even after the project.
With this project being of considerable dimension, every effort was made to avoid adverse impacts, which translated into specific and comprehensive resettlement measures.
What was cardinal was, first of all, to understand the communities we were getting into. Firstly, we looked at the setup of the community, the local leadership. We looked at the kind of activities that they were engaged in, where people were doing gardening along the drainage. So those are some of the issues that we needed to take into consideration. We had to look into the aspect that that was their only source of livelihood. And so that gave birth to another initiative and social response, which was coined as the Livelihood Restoration Program. And through that Livelihood Restoration Program, they were able to come up with an alternative source of livelihood. It's important to implement a resettlement project under a policy guideline, and especially one that has a human face to it. We should leave people better than we found them.
So, pamene inabwera project iyi, tinali kulima ndiyo, kunalima fruits uku, kunali nzimbe, kunali mango. So tinaona kuti yapa ngwerere nabwera tivuta maningi. Manzi anali kutingenera mmanyumba. So apa tinaona chani kani yathu yamene tinaona ngati masuka maningi kuti konzera ingwerere. Then tachoka yapo tinamba upeza maphunziro. Atauta kuti tachita bwanji atipasa ndalama zathu zija. Tabwera tapulumuka manje. Tamangako kutuma nyumba uku. Tabwera futi anienda sawa ku skulu. Kuja ku skulu ninankhala 1 month pa red roof. Anipasa certificate. So tadziwa zambiri. So tinayamba nkhuku tinamba mu May chaka chasira. So taziyamba nkhuku tinaona kuti nkhasako ketambo phunzamo bana nilibe mwamuna. So bana ninawo bali 5 ophunzira. So ndikubwera kumanga nyumba iyi. So yochokera mu project yamene iyi. Nagulako na plot 2. So naija amene mwaona sandija. Na mablock amene mwaona kuja. So niyochokera mwamene umu. Nakanyumba kamene akakonsa kamene kanitandiza.
On the institutional strengthening side, we have technical assistance to Lusaka Water and Sewage Company and LCC, largely focusing on actually just helping them or increase their capability to manage and maintain their infrastructure assets and deliver services better to the residents of Lusaka.
The technical assistance has been very valuable in order to improve on the capacity of our members of staff. We're able to build a dedicated team to enhance the management of our assets so that we can derive the maximum value out of it. Also, the issue of non-revenue water, which we hope we'll be able to reduce that. The technologies and the products which we are developing have to be gender sensitive. So we want something that is acceptable to the community, affordable and sustainable. We're looking forward to facing the challenge of taking over and operating the infrastructure, but we are confident that with the capacity which we have built, particularly with the involvement of the TAs and the interactions we've had with the different experts, we'll be able to manage the systems.
MCA contracted Core Water to provide technical support for social inclusion and gender mainstreaming. So as we speak right now, we've got that document, the social inclusion and gender mainstreaming policy, which will guide the activities that will be implemented, post, project implementation, so that we can institutionalize the issues of gender and social inclusion.
Success stories have been recorded. Both Lusaka City Council and the Lusaka Water and Sewage Company have developed and launched their social and gender policies and strategies.
There was no deliberate policy to manage issues of social inclusion and gender mainstreaming. Now the coming of the policy, we have a structured way of ensuring that no one is left behind. All the strata of society, from poor people, the vulnerable people, the least privileged, the rich, they've all been captured. And the council is doing every effort to ensure that in terms of development, all the different sectors of the Lusaka community are catered for. I think this is where the institutional strengthening component has really helped, because our officers at departmental level and our policymakers have been capacitated to manage the drainage post the compact period. So, and this is where we would like to express our gratitude to the compact for including the institutional strengthening, because it will ensure sustainability of the project, because as an institution now, we are able to manage independently with the knowledge that we have acquired.
We came from a place that was activity-based, and now we're going to a place where gender and social inclusion is throughout our programs. So it's in our daily work plans, it's in our quarterly work plans, and it just goes throughout the year. So for us, it excites us in the fact that gender is now a part of us. Gender has actually gone even into our personal lives. We are socially, alert. We are socially alive. Within us, we actually call it, we are all SIGEMed. So for us, it's something very exciting as a technical working group. And for the local authority itself, we have seen a lot of changes amongst ourselves. For those of us that have been in the technical working group, and we are hoping that this will actually roll out to the whole institution.
One of the key features of this project that I love is its bottom-up approach in terms of focusing on the beneficiaries of the investment. It's one thing to talk about water supply infrastructure, drainage infrastructure, and miss that critical element of the beneficiary. For me, it's the smiling face of the woman who is no longer now pushing drums, but getting water, right in her household. It's that young girl who's now spending more time studying instead of looking for water. So in order to be able to conceptualize this engineering phenomenon, we held over 21 meetings with community members so that we could get input from them, so that we could get feedback from them. So we had this meeting in the different community areas so that the beneficiaries of the project could also have input into this development infrastructure. It is those little softer elements of the project that make this kind of investment meaningful and person-oriented.
People are very receptive to the message and they really welcome the project. And our main aim as IEC Education is to sensitize, educate and communicate to the people. We as community mobilizers under Lusaka City Council, we go door to door sensitizing the people on drainage maintenance, construction site safety, like they shouldn't go to the construction site while the drainage is being constructed because anything can happen to them that is negative.
All the children were sensitized. Mothers were sensitized to say they should stay away from the construction areas. So there were good guidance and everyone was on the ground. We really helped each other to make sure that there are no any accidents which could injure our children.
It's good that they are building this stream because it was too dangerous for the children. They were playing inside there. Some of them were like dying in there and being contaminated with this dirty water. Yeah, there were people who came and organized their communities, the people from the community to be awareness that they'll start very soon to be building the drainage and there'll be like clean water will be passing, not like the way it is.
We are gender sensitive in our insemination of this information. As we mentioned about the type of groups that we meet, even in terms of the type of toilets that we should build from. There are those ones which can enable even people who are physically challenged. So everyone is catered for according to our messaging and what they should do.
Sometimes we take it for granted that people understand concepts like solid waste management, hygiene and sanitation, but then when you get to speak to them, you realize that there's actually a gap in knowledge. And so I would recommend that IEC should not end with the project, but it should be something that the two implementing entities are going to take up going forward. There's talk of having a new entity for solid waste management. I think for that entity to work, there's still need for IEC. Yes, because in our engaging with community members, we have actually realized that behavior, what we are communicating is actually behavior change. And behavior change does not just occur overnight. It's something that takes ages. And so it's very important that people are communicated to even on a daily basis in order for them to change. It's not something that is going to happen today, but we definitely will get there.
The Innovation Grant activity was intended to increase and sustain the poor's access to quality water supply and sanitation, enhance access by all beneficiaries, women, men, children, and other vulnerable groups, to project benefits and expand opportunities for entrepreneurship and income-generating activities related to water, sanitation, and drainage infrastructure.
Overall, I think the project has really been beneficial. And when we started, we anticipated to benefit over 40,000 in terms of our beneficiary targets. But currently, that has been exceeded. We are looking at almost, by the completion of the project, 70,000 individual beneficiaries. So we are really excited about that.
Ma flushing toilets ni ya bwino kuchia ma pita tree. Kama pita tree ayatipasa matenda like cholera, typhoid, vichoka mpita tree. So ma flushing toilets yali bwino maningi kuchira ma process yatu hii inamba kambe inali from loans.
Our toilet is well connected. We have got no any challenge. We were told how to use the flushable toilets, and we are following the procedure. Even the Lusaka Water and Sewage is now rehabilitating water pipes so that we have access to water all the time.
Timvera bwino tikondowera maningi pamene wanatipangira matoilet aya tinakondowera maningi chifukwa yamaoneka bwino kwa paja tenzo ma vadoti apa manje ngati nkara so tonsi chizakankara mushi.
Inchito yamene nisebenza pa moyo wanga wachijako life yanga sinenza okwanisa kugula unga mu nyumba, but masiku ano ndimakwanisa kugula unga mu nyumba. Sinenza okwanisa kulipirira abana ba school, but masiku ano ndimakwanisa kulipirira abana ba school. Kenangu ndima banking ako, kenangu ndimasebenzesa pa nyumba. Kangono kamene ndimapeza mu nchito yamene.
Manja Pamozi or stroke IGP is mainly about recycling. It's about solid waste management in a sustainable way. For myself, even if I'm not making as much money as I should, but there is potential. I can employ people and pay them salaries. And I can also help the women who supply the materials to me. I buy, and then the money that they get, they use it for their daily lives.
I don't shirambo kutola, no na panatampa kutola. Nimana kuti paleba ko change. Pandu ngana tola, na isa mkushitisha ko kanono kuno na kulia kunganda na mkushita moto totonde fwaya to akudia abana panganda. Baboya bajoyina, badoba na baleta, baona mo bwino manje. Kuti akazi vintezo kuona ni so chabe kazi vina pindu ifunika kuti zona nchito yatu iyi kaitito tidoba madoti yonse ma plastiki maboto machani ma card box munkalako kilini mujamu.
The old toilets was built by changes too. Then the Wasaza came in. They said we want to add more toilets. The pupils, upon seeing that they've built these flushed toilets, Then the pupils were very happy because before it has no privacy.
We are setting up sanitation facilities that comprise of a biodigester and then a superstructure comprising of the toilets. We have an average of around 800 pupils per school times 8. That's around 6,400 pupils.
This program is really focused not just on shareholders, it's focused on stakeholders. It's focused on everybody who will be touched by the investments in water, sanitation, and drainage through the Millennium Challenge Corporation and Compact. What's really key is this has to be owned by the Zambians, and they have to build on what we as partners did together. It's a setup that I think is really the ideal way to have a country own the project. And it has been an absolute pleasure for me personally, but also for MCC to work with such qualified and passionate people.
It's a project that will benefit over 1.2 million in the city of Lusaka, and the benefits are so visible. I'm sure after the monitoring and evaluation is done, we'll be able to see the results that will come out on whether indeed the issue of social and gender integration has impacted positively on the sustainability of investment. So it's definitely a worthwhile investment.
As close out, we also would like to make sure that we engage all the stakeholders, including government. Going forward, when we have construction activities of this nature, they have to make sure that they are very clear on the child labor issues, the sexual harassment issues. This is a big thing that we want to document, and this is also part of the documentation to make sure that we can share the lessons, that when we have this magnitude projects, we are people-oriented. There is no project that you are going to do without integrating the people. And I think it makes me satisfied to do this kind of job, because I know that the service that we are providing is people-oriented. It's moving people from a lower end to a higher end.